All right, hello guys. We are talking about how we're going to solve rational expressions, but what we're looking at here, we're on 1 through 6, where it says state the excluded values for each. We want to know where the denominator equals 0 because that is what's going to give you an error in the calculator. So basically, we want to know where this part right here equals 0 at. So I go up to I'm just going to solve that equation, and I'm going to go up here and do this. 15x equals 0. And it's the same thing that you know how to do is in solving an equation. So you divide both sides by 15, and you get 0 over 15. So in this case, x is equal to 0. That's an excluded value. And what that means is if you put 0 in the bottom, you're going to get a 0 in the denominator, and you can't divide anything by 0. So that gets you an error. Okay? So that's how you would work problems 1 and 2 on your work today. Now, as you move on, what if the bottom is a situation where you have to factor it? Well, we look at, we see all this going on the bottom. And so we've got 15m squared plus 12m plus 35.
Hey, good morning to you, Kimball Nation. Good morning. Good morning. Listen, we will have Kimball Symposium that will get started about 8:05. So you have about 9 minutes, 9-10 minutes to kind of get yourself settled this morning, get clocked in, whatever you need to do, pick up an agenda. We sit in the first 12 rows, please. So be in the auditorium ready to go by 8:05. Thank you, staff.
Now in this case, what we're looking for is we want to factor the bottom because m squared plus 12m plus 35 factors into something easier. And that's where we have to think about, well, what are the factors of m squared plus 12m plus 35? That is where we do this. And we have an m here, and I'm going to erase that because that's a little messy. Let me start over here. We're going to have a m here, and we're going to have an m here. And now I need to think of factors of 35 that add up to plus 12. Now, the only real choices I have here are 1 and 35, and I have 5 and 7. Because remember, the middle is positive, so when that's positive and that's positive, we have pluses inside. And in this case, what factors of 35 add up to 12? That's 5 and 7. So 5 plus 7 is equal to 12. And what that means is this, is the factors are m plus 5 and m plus 7. So now, my factors are the excluded values. I have to solve this equation. M plus 5 equals 0, and m plus 7 equals 0. And when you solve that out, you're going to get m equals negative 5, and you're going to get m equals negative 7. So the excluded values for this one, the values that you cannot plug in the expression, are negative 5 and negative 7. And so what you need to know about these lessons today, guys, is you're going to be using factoring to solve your problems. Now, this is one where I'm asking you to simplify and find an excluded value. So we're going to start with the excluded value first because that's easy. So I'm going to start with the excluded value first, and I'm going to just say n plus 7 equals 0. And when I solve that, I get n equals negative 7. So now, my excluded value for this problem is n equals -7. So I cannot put a -7 in here in the bottom where n is, because that'll make the expression not work. Now, having done that, let's talk about how we simplify this expression. The top, if you'll look here at the top, you got n plus 8n plus 7 all over n plus 7, and on the top, that is the part that I can factor. So what I'm going to do on that part where I can factor is I'm going to look at this middle term. All right, so my factors have to add up to 8, and my factors have to be factors of 7. So what positive factors of 7 are going to add up to 8? Well, this is an easy one, because all I've got is 1 and 7. So my factors are n plus 1 and n plus 7. So when I rewrite this and I resimplify it, I've got n plus 1 over n plus 7 all over n plus 1. And then from here, it's just a matter of canceling out. Well, what's the same on the top and the bottom? The n plus 1's cancel out. And so my simplified expression for this one is just going to be n plus 7.